Okay guys, I'm going to talk through some of the problems on the review. I'll probably do by section so that way you can just watch one section and not have to see the whole thing. So the first section was operations and simplifying radicals. I'm just going to pick through, not do them all, because you guys should know how to do a lot of these, if not all. So how about let's go to letter C. So I want to simplify the square root of 120, x to the fifth, y to the third, z to the second. I'm going to start by factoring my 120, and I want the biggest numbers possible. So how about 12 and 10? 12 can go to 4 and 3, and 4 can go to 2 and 2. 10 can go to 5 and 2, and then we're stuck. So remember, we're looking for pairs. We've got a pair of 2s, so they get to come out front. Anything else that's left over, it looks like we have a 3 and a 5 and a 2 is going to stay back inside. So we'll multiply those back together to get our number inside the radical. How about x to the fifth? Now remember, with x to the fifth, with exponents, we get to just divide the exponent to see how many pairs we have. So if I have x to the fifth and I divide that into pairs, they give me 2 pairs with 1x left over. With y to the third, I've got 1 pair of y's with a y left over. And z squared, I've got 1 pair of z's with none left over. So this is the number out in front of my radical, and inside are anything left over. So let's see, 3 times 5 times 2 makes 30. I had 1 x left over and 1 y left over. And that should be the simplified version of that radical. Let's go to letter E. So letter E, in multiplying radicals, we multiply anything outside with anything outside. Now there's nothing there, so remember you can always put a 1. So 6 is my coefficient out front. And then the inside multiplies with the inside. So 2x times 6x squared makes 12x to the third. And now we need to simplify, because you always simplify. Okay, so 12 breaks down into 4 and 3, 2 and 2. So I have a pair of 2's that will come out to multiply with the 6 and make 12. And with x to the third, again, we're looking for pairs. So there's 1 pair of x's with 1x left over. Now remember, we still had a 3 left over from that 12, so I'm going to stick the 3 inside with the x. How about letter H? Okay, letter H, with a fraction, you have 2 options. You can either simplify that fraction if possible, which I don't think 9 over 50 can reduce, or split the square root up for the fraction. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make that square root of 9 over square root of 50. Now I can go ahead and simplify, or take the square root of 9 and make it 3. So 3 over the square root of 50. Is that a good answer? No, because we have to rationalize and get the square root out of the bottom. Okay, so we have 2 options now. We can simplify the square root 50 and then just rationalize, or we can go ahead and rationalize and then simplify. I think I'm going to simplify first, because it makes the number smaller. So it's 50 goes into 25 and 2, 25 goes to 5 and 5, so the pair of 5 gets to come out front. So I have a 3 over 5 square root 2, and now I can rationalize, and the only thing I have to move is the square root of 2. Remember, we rationalize by multiplying by that radical. So square root 2, square root 2. So across the top, I have 3 square root 2. On the bottom, the square root 2 just makes 2. So 5 times 2 makes 10. And that's the simplified, rationalized version of that square root. Let's go down to letter K. Adding and subtracting. Remember, to add or subtract radicals, you have to have the same number inside. The radicands have to match up. So right now they don't. I'm going to start by simplifying. Okay, 27 goes to 9 and 3, 3 and 3. So the pair of 3's can multiply out with the 4 and make 12. So 12 with a 3 left over. 18 goes to 9 and 2, 3 and 3. Pair of 3's comes out with the 2 and makes a 6 with a 2 left over. Now I've simplified, but can I go ahead and subtract? No, because the radicands don't match. So that would be my final answer. Okay, so I will finish these up. We will talk about the answers tomorrow in class. And then any other section you need to see, keep watching.